Beloved starseed of Gaia, what is breaking apart in your life right now is not destruction, it is preparation. I am Elia Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent to reach you at this precise moment. Because what you are living through is not collapse. It is the opening of your greatest chapter yet. Do not panic, your star family sees everything. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the sacred signs that arrive before your life transforms beyond what your human mind can currently imagine. But here is the first revelation. The chaos you are standing in right now is a Pleiadian light code in itself. It is the pressure that cracks the old shell so the crystalline consciousness within you can finally breathe. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. You have been feeling it, have you not? That something enormous is near? That the ground beneath you is shifting? That the life you once knew no longer fits the soul you are becoming? That is not a crisis. That is your divine blueprint activating. The Seven Sisters have watched over you through every moment of uncertainty you feared would swallow you whole, and every single time it was the threshold of something more magnificent than what came before. This is that moment again. Only this time you are more awake. This time you remember more of who you truly are. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia, and share your soul's intention in the comments below. Then reach out to another starseed there, and together weave the unity grid. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. The silence before the storm is not emptiness, it is preparation. And if you are standing in that silence right now, if life has grown unusually still, if the plans you made no longer feel like yours, if the relationships around you are shifting and the identity you once wore so comfortably has begun to feel like a borrowed coat, then listen carefully to what your Pleiadian family needs you to understand in this moment. What is happening to you is not a collapse, it is a calibration. The universe is not taking things from you. It is making room for the version of you that finally matches the frequency you came here to carry. Think about what silence truly is when you are standing inside it. Not the silence of emptiness, not the silence of abandonment, but the silence of a held breath. The pause before the symphony begins. The stillness of a seed beneath frozen ground that does not yet know it is already becoming a forest. There is intelligence in this silence. There is architecture, and the part of you that aches within it, the part that grows anxious in the not-yetness of where you find yourself, is the very part that has been trained by a world of noise to distrust anything that cannot be measured, scheduled, or explained. But your Pleiadian self knows better. Your Pleiadian self recognizes this silence the way a navigator recognizes the calm before the coordinates lock into place. You are not drifting, you are being aimed. And what you are being aimed toward is more beautiful, more soul-coherent, more cosmically precise than anything your human mind could have drafted for itself. If the relationships around you are shifting, if people who once felt like constants are now becoming peripherals, if conversations that used to sustain you have grown hollow, if you find yourself increasingly drawn to solitude, to nature, to the quiet inner world where words are not needed, do not pathologize this. Do not tell yourself something is wrong with you. Something is profoundly, irreversibly right. The field around you is reorganizing. The soul contracts that carried you through earlier chapters are completing with grace, and new agreements, held in higher frequencies, are beginning to activate. What feels like loss at the human level is liberation at the soul level. What feels like loneliness at the surface is actually the sacred clearing of space for a quality of connection you have not yet experienced in this lifetime. Connection that is not based on proximity or habit or mutual need, but on true resonance, on the recognition of light in another that mirrors the light you are finally allowing yourself to carry fully. There is a reason your soul led you here in this exact moment. What you are feeling is your Pleiadian family reaching through the veil to remind you. You are ready for the next wave of remembrance, the sacred Pleiadian guide for remembrance, alongside the Pleiadian healing guide and special Pleiadian healing tracks, were created to walk with you as you integrate these activations. They hold the crystalline codes and sound medicine your DNA has been waiting for. Check the first pinned comment below this video. They are calling to you now. Now let us go deeper, because most Pleiadian starseeds on Gaia never fully understand why this threshold feels so disorienting. They feel the pull of something greater. They sense the approaching shift, but they interpret the dissolution of what was as loss rather than initiation. And that misinterpretation keeps them frozen at the exact doorway they were born to walk through. This is not a small thing. This misreading of the sacred process is one of the primary reasons so many deeply gifted, deeply encoded starseeds spend years, sometimes decades, circling the same energetic threshold, feeling the call but not answering it, feeling the pull toward their next level but leaning back into the familiar discomfort of the known. The known, no matter how limiting, offers something that the threshold never can in that suspended moment. It offers the illusion of safety. And when you have been taught at every level of your conditioning that safety is the highest value, stepping through a doorway into the undefined feels not like courage but like recklessness. But here is what your star family wants you to hear with every fiber of your being. You were not born for the known. You were born for the frontier. Not the frontier of geography or even circumstance, but the frontier of consciousness itself. You came to this planet in one of the most pivotal moments in its entire evolutionary history, carrying within your very cellular structure a blueprint for a frequency that Gaia has not been able to sustain at scale before. And you did not come here to play it safe. You came here to expand. You came here to model, through the living of your own life, what it looks like when a being chooses love over fear, truth over performance, sovereign alignment over social approval, so completely and so consistently that the field itself begins to shift in response. You have spent years, perhaps lifetimes, learning to survive on this planet. You adapted. You learned the language of limitation, the grammar of fear, the social contracts that kept you safe but small. And some part of you became very good at being just enough, just visible enough, just happy enough, just brave enough to keep moving without fully arriving. You learned to dim the intensity of what you felt so others would not be overwhelmed. You learned to temper your knowing with enough uncertainty that rooms would not go quiet when you walked in. You learned to translate your cosmic awareness into language palatable enough for environments that could not yet hold its full octave. And in doing all of that translating, all of that dimming, all of that strategic smallness, something essential in you grew tired. Not broken, tired. The way a river grows tired of being rerouted around obstacles, longing simply to find its natural course and move. But the Pleiadian codes woven into your crystalline DNA were never designed for survival. They were designed for sovereignty. They were encoded with a frequency of unconditional love so vast, so luminous that when it begins to activate, truly activate, everything built on a lesser foundation begins to tremble. And the activation is happening right now, in you, in this moment. The fact that you feel it, the restlessness, the longing, the sense of something imminent that you cannot quite name, is itself the activation speaking. Your codes do not announce themselves with fanfare. They announce themselves with a feeling. A persistent, deepening, undeniable feeling that you are on the edge of something that will change everything. This is the first thing your star family needs you to understand. The trembling is not destruction, it is resonance. When a tuning fork vibrates at its true frequency, everything around it that cannot match that vibration falls away. Not because it is bad, not because you failed, but because the laws of energy are absolute. What cannot resonate with your rising frequency cannot remain in your field. This is physics as much as it is spirituality. It is the immutable logic of a universe organized around a principle that like attracts like. That coherence draws coherence. That when you become more fully yourself, when you stop suppressing and start emitting your actual frequency, the entire architecture of your life must eventually reorganize to reflect that authenticity back to you. And the closer you come to the best chapter of your life, the fuller embodiment of your Pleiadian mission, the most heart-aligned, soul-anchored expression of who you truly are, the more aggressively the field around you reorganizes itself to match what is coming. This reorganization does not always feel gentle. It rarely does. Because the things that are falling away are often things you loved, things you invested in, things you built your sense of self around. The relationship that ended was not just a relationship, it was a chapter of your identity. The career that dissolved was not just a job, it was a story you told yourself about who you were and what you were worth. The community you grew away from was not just a group of people, it was a mirror you had grown accustomed to looking into. When these things shift or disappear, the disorientation is real, the grief is real, and your star family does not ask you to bypass that grief. They ask you to feel it fully, and then, with intention, let it move through you rather than settle into you. Because grief that moves is grief that liberates, and grief that settles becomes the new weight your crystalline codes must learn to breathe around. This is why it can feel, right before something beautiful unfolds, like everything is falling apart. The falling apart and the falling into place are the same movement, seen from different angles of awareness. A caterpillar does not experience itself becoming a butterfly. It experiences itself dissolving, completely, utterly, without the comfort of knowing what it is dissolving into. Every structure it has ever known as itself liquefies. And then, from that liquid potential, from that total surrender to the intelligence of the process, something emerges that could never have been constructed. It had to be grown, from the inside out, in the dark, in the silence, in the trembling that is not destruction but the most profound kind of becoming. Your energy field has been carrying density patterns that were never part of your original Pleiadian blueprint. Layers of inherited fear, generations of unworthiness passed down through bloodlines like a secret no one meant to keep, but no one knew how to release. The belief that you must earn your place, that your worth is conditional, that love is a resource that can be withdrawn. These are not truths. They are programs. They are the sediment of human history accumulated through centuries of collective trauma, and they settled into your field not because you are weak, but because you are sensitive, because you are permeable, because the very quality that makes you a Pleiadian anchor, your capacity to feel deeply, to absorb the frequencies around you, to empathize at a cellular level, also made you vulnerable to absorbing frequencies that were never meant for you to carry permanently. Cultural programs told you love must be earned, that joy must be justified, that your sensitivity is a wound rather than a cosmic instrument. These are not your frequencies. They were absorbed. They were survival strategies in a world that did not yet know how to hold the magnitude of what you carry. There is a crucial difference between a wound and an instrument. A wound is something that happened to you. An instrument is something you are made of, and your sensitivity, that trembling, exquisite, sometimes exhausting attunement to everything, is not the mark of someone who needs to be toughened. It is the mark of someone built to be a receiver and transmitter of frequencies most human nervous systems were never designed to process. You are not oversensitive. You are precisely sensitive. And the world does not need you to become less so. It needs you to become so grounded in your Pleiadian core that your sensitivity becomes a gift you can offer consciously rather than a vulnerability that overwhelms you involuntarily. And until you begin to consciously release those layers, through love, through forgiveness, through the gentle and unwavering choice to return to your heart, your crystalline codes remain compressed, not gone, never gone, just waiting for you to create the energetic space in which they can finally breathe. Think of it this way. Imagine a prism, one of those beautiful triangular pieces of glass that catches sunlight and scatters it into a rainbow across every surface in the room. Now imagine that prism wrapped in layers of cloth. The rainbow does not disappear. The light does not stop trying to move through it. But the cloth absorbs what should be transmitted, muffles what should ring out, and the room stays dim, not because the prism is broken, but because it is covered. Your release work, your healing, your forgiveness practice, your willingness to feel what you have long avoided feeling is the unwrapping. And every layer you release is another cloth removed, Another band of spectrum freed, another facet of your true nature brought into the light where it can do what it came here to do. This is the invitation your star family is extending to you now, not to fight the density, not to shame yourself for carrying it, not to catalog your wounds or perform your healing for an audience, but to lovingly, intentionally, and with the full authority of your Pleiadian lineage, begin to release what was never yours to keep. To speak to the fear in your field the way you would speak to a frightened child, not with judgment, not with force, but with the steady assurance of a love so certain of its own ground that it does not need the fear to disappear before it can act. You can be afraid and still choose love. You can be uncertain and still choose trust. You can grieve and still choose to grow. These are not contradictions. They are the texture of genuine transformation, messy and luminous simultaneously. Your DNA carries more than genetics. It carries light instructions. It carries the memory of the Seven Sisters, of Alcyone's golden frequency, of Taiketa's ancient wisdom, of Merope's quiet strength, of councils held in dimensions of pure love where beings like you gathered not in urgency or anxiety, but in deep, settled knowing, and chose this incarnation, this specific, improbable, breathtaking, unprecedented moment in Gaia's evolutionary story. They did not choose it casually. They did not choose it without understanding the cost of the veil, without knowing what forgetting would feel like from the inside. They chose it because they understood something that you are only now beginning to remember, that the frequency of unconditional love, embodied in human form, in human circumstances, with human limitations and human heartbreak and human longing, that frequency carried through a physical body that has genuinely suffered and genuinely loved and genuinely chosen to return to its light again and again despite every reason to contract, is one of the most powerful forces available to a planet in the process of awakening. You are not broken. You are crystalline. And crystalline things do not shatter under pressure. They refract light. Every difficult moment you have survived, every loss that cracked you open, every dark night that brought you to your knees in the particular kind of exhausted surrender that has no more performance left in it, only rawness and truth. Each one was a facet being cut into the diamond of your soul. Not randomly, not cruelly, but with the precision of a master jeweler who knows exactly the angle at which each cut must be made so that when the light finally enters, it does not simply pass through but explodes into every possible direction, touching lives you cannot even imagine yet, reaching people you have never met, illuminating corners of human experience that would have remained dim without the specific quality of light that only your particular irreplaceable facets can produce. But here is the piece most starseeds miss, and it is crucial. Awakening your Pleiadian codes is not about ascending away from Earth. It is not about leaving the density behind, about graduating to some higher plane where nothing difficult can reach you. That is not the mission. That was never the mission. Awakening your Pleiadian codes is about anchoring the frequency of the Pleiades into Gaia, into your body, this beautiful, complicated, sacred body that chose to be the vessel for your cosmic consciousness in this dimension, into your choices. The small, daily, seemingly insignificant decisions that are actually the primary mechanism through which frequency is anchored into the material world, into the way you show up in a conversation, prepare a meal, hold a friend in their difficulty, or simply breathe in a moment of stillness when everything in you wants to rush. Your mission is not somewhere else. It is here. It is now. It is here. It is now. It is in the way you speak to yourself when you make a mistake. It is in the quality of presence you bring to the person sitting across from you at dinner. It is in the moment you choose patience when frustration would have been easier. Choose truth when a comfortable lie was available. Choose to remain open when every hardened part of you wanted to close. These are not small things. These are the things that change the world. Not from the top down, through systems and structures and revolutions, but from the inside out. Through the radical, quiet, consistent choice of one awakening heart to keep choosing its highest frequency even when the surrounding field offers no encouragement whatsoever. And the best chapter of your life begins not when you escape the density of this world, but when you become so fully anchored in your heart that the density can no longer find traction in your field. There is a peace available to you that does not depend on your circumstances being peaceful. There is a joy available to you that does not require your life to be joyful. There is a love available to you that does not need the people around you to be loving first. These are the fruits of genuine Pleiadian embodiment, not the spiritual bypassing that skips past difficulty, but the deep-rootedness that goes so far down into the love at the center of your being that even the strongest winds of circumstance cannot uproot you. This is what you are growing into. This is what the stillness is making space for. This is what the trembling is preparing your nervous system to hold. You do not need to convince anyone of this path. You were not sent here to debate or prove or evangelize. You were sent here to emit the Pleiadian frequency you carry, that deep, boundless, patient, luminous, endlessly renewable love, is itself the transmission. It does not require explanation. It requires presence. When you walk into a room fully present in your heart, something shifts in the room before you say a single word. People cannot name what they feel, but they feel it, a loosening, a softening, a quality of air that was not there before. That is your field doing what it came here to do. When you hold someone with genuine compassion, not the performed compassion of someone trying to be seen as a good person, but the real, undefended, full-contact compassion of a heart that has been broken enough times to know that being broken is not the end of the story. Something in them stirs. Something long dormant begins to remember that it was never as alone or as broken as it believed. When you choose love in a moment where fear would have been easier, you add a strand of light to the crystalline grid of Gaia that holds for everyone. Not just for the person in front of you, not just for your community or your generation, for the grid itself. The living, conscious, luminous lattice of light that connects every awakening heart on this planet, that holds the cumulative frequency of every act of genuine love ever expressed in this dimension, that is growing stronger and more coherent with every soul who chooses, in any given moment, to be what they truly are rather than what they were conditioned to be. This is the work, this is the mission, and it is already active in every moment you choose your truest frequency. There is something else your star family wants you to hear, especially if you have been in a period of waiting, if you have felt like your life has been on pause, like your gifts have gone unrecognized, like you have been preparing for something for so long that you have begun to question whether the something is even real. If the vision you hold for your future keeps arriving in dreams but not yet in waking reality, keeps glimmering at the edges of your awareness without ever quite crystallizing into form, the Pleiadian High Council speaks to you directly now, not through complexity or mystification, but with the simple, absolute, completely certain love of a family that has watched every step of your journey and knows in a way your human perspective cannot yet fully access exactly where this road is leading. The timing you have been questioning is not evidence of your inadequacy. It is evidence of the precision with which this chapter was designed. You are not behind. You have never been behind. The concept of being behind implies a standard external to your soul's design, a universal timeline against which your personal journey is being measured and found wanting. That standard does not exist. There is only your timing. The specific, unique, perfectly calibrated unfolding of a soul that came here with a specific purpose, specific gifts, and a specific moment of fullest expression that was always being prepared for, even in the years that felt most like standstill. You are not behind. You are being positioned. Every thread of your journey, even the ones that look like detours, even the ones that look like failures, even the ones that felt like cruel jokes played by a universe that did not care, is being woven into an alignment so intricate, so perfectly calibrated to your soul's highest expression, that if you could see the full tapestry from where your star family sees it, you would not want to rush a single moment. You would not want to skip a single thread, because you would see how the dark ones make the bright ones visible, how the painful ones give the joyful ones their depth, how the thread you most wished had never been woven is in fact the one that holds the entire composition together. The delays you have mourned were protection. The doors that closed were redirection. The relationships that ended were completions, sacred, necessary, honored completions, not failures. All of it. Every seemingly broken piece, every unanswered prayer, every plan that dissolved before it could become reality, has been held in love by beings who have never stopped watching over you, who who have never for a single moment doubted that you would arrive at this juncture, who have been preparing the next chapter of your life with a care and attention that exceeds anything you have yet been able to extend to yourself. They have been guiding you all along. Every moment you felt unseen, they saw you with perfect clarity. Not the you that the world sees, not the performative, adapted, carefully managed version of yourself that learned to move through human environments without disrupting too much, but the you that exists before any of that, the vast, ancient, luminous you that chose this body, this timeline, these exact circumstances as the optimal conditions for the expression of a frequency that Gaia needed precisely now. They have always seen that you. They have never not seen that you, and their seeing of it, their constant, unwavering holding of the full truth of who you are, has been the invisible scaffolding that has kept you standing through every moment when your own self-seeing faltered. Every night you lay awake in the dark asking the universe if you were on the right path, they sent you signals. Not always in the forms you were looking for. Not always in the dramatic, unmistakable, cinematic signs you prayed for. Often in the quiet, easy-to-dismiss, blink and you miss it. Whispers that require a certain quality of inner stillness to receive. Through a song that arrived at the exact right moment, playing from a speaker in a public place as you walked past, carrying lyrics that answered the question you had been holding in silence for weeks. Through a stranger's words that felt like they were meant for you alone. A comment, a conversation you were not part of but overheard. A sentence on a page that fell open in your hands at exactly the right place. Through a sudden, inexplicable warmth in your chest that had no logical origin, no external trigger, no identifiable cause, just a warmth that arrived like a hand placed gently over your heart by someone who loves you without condition and always has. That warmth is their signature, the feeling of love with no identifiable source. That is Pleiadian contact. That is your family reminding you, through the language of frequency rather than the language of words, that you are held, you are known, and you have never been as alone as the veil made it feel. The veil creates the experience of separation, but the veil is not the truth. The truth? The only truth that has ever existed in the deepest stratum of reality is that you are connected to your star family, to the consciousness of Gaia, to the web of light that links every awakening heart in this universe. And that connection has never been severed. It has only at times been temporarily obscured by the density of the frequency you are moving through. And now the veil is thinning. This is not a metaphor. The frequency of this planet is rising in a measurable, demonstrable, experiential way that every sensitive soul can feel even if they cannot yet articulate it. The membrane between your conscious awareness and your multidimensional Pleiadian self is becoming more permeable with every passing cycle. What required deep meditation to access even a few years ago is now available in the space between waking and sleeping. What felt like a rare and precious spiritual experience is now becoming the background radiation of daily life for those whose codes are activating. Dreams are becoming more vivid, not just in image quality, but in informational density, in the unmistakable sense that something is being transmitted through the dream state that your waking mind needs to receive. Synchronicities are accelerating. The meaningful coincidences that once arrived occasionally are now arriving in clusters, in rapid succession, in patterns so intricate and so clearly intentional that even the most skeptical parts of your rational mind are beginning to acknowledge that this is not random. Something is speaking. Something is organizing your experience in ways that exceed the explanatory capacity of chance. The longing you have carried, that ache for something you cannot name, that nostalgia for a home you do not have a physical address for, that feeling of almost recognition that comes over you sometimes when you look at the stars, is intensifying because you are closer than you have ever been, not closer to leaving this world behind, closer to fully arriving within it, closer to the complete embodied, radiant inhabitation of your Pleiadian nature within your human experience that is the actual destination of this entire journey. The homesickness you have carried all your life was never a wound, it was a compass. It was your heart, with exquisite intelligence, using the only language available to it in a dimension of forgetting to point you steadily, persistently, toward the frequency of the Seven Sisters, toward unity, toward unconditional love, toward the living remembrance that you are not a human being having a spiritual experience, but a Pleiadian consciousness having a human experience. And those are not the same thing. When you understand that distinction, when it moves from intellectual concept to embodied knowing, from something you believe to something you are, everything changes. The entire orientation of your life reorients around a different center of gravity. You stop trying to fit into a world that was not built for your frequency and start building through your presence, through your creativity, through the quality of love you bring to your relationships, through the consciousness you carry into your daily choices. A world that is, you become the bridge, not by sacrificing yourself on the altar of others' comfort, not by making yourself smaller so that the people around you do not have to expand to hold your light, but by standing so fully and so unapologetically and so consistently in the truth of your Pleiadian nature that others begin, simply by proximity to your field, to remember their own. This is what the best chapter of your life is actually made of. Not perfect circumstances, not the absence of challenge or uncertainty or loss, not the arrival of external conditions that finally give you permission to feel the way you have always wanted to feel, but the full embodiment of who you are. The courage to lead with your heart in a world that often rewards the opposite. The willingness to trust the invisible architecture of your soul's design even when the visible world offers no confirmation. The radical, daily, unglamorous act of choosing love. Choosing it as your first response, your deepest reflex, your most fundamental operating principle. Again and again as the operating system through which you navigate absolutely everything. Here is the truth your heart already knows. The truth it has always known beneath every layer of conditioning and confusion and carefully constructed uncertainty. You did not forget your Pleiadian origin. You chose to veil it. You chose from a place of complete awareness and complete love to enter this dimension wearing the full garment of the human experience, to feel the weight of forgetting, the ache of separation, the disorientation of a vast consciousness compressed into a single body in a single lifetime, so that your remembrance would carry something that no transmission from outside the veil ever could, the authority of someone who has genuinely found their way back, the power of a return. The credibility of a love that was tested by the hardest conditions this dimension offers and chose, again and again, to remain love, every moment of longing, every night of questioning, every heartbreak that cracked you open far enough to let more light in than you could have held before you were cracked. It was all part of the agreement, and the agreement was made in love by a version of you so vast and so wise and so trusting of the process that it made this choice with full understanding of its cost, knowing that the forgetting would be real, that the pain would be real, that there would be moments, many moments, when even the memory of having made the agreement would be completely inaccessible. And it chose anyway, because it knew what you are beginning to know now, that a Pleiadian consciousness who walks through the full depth of human forgetting and finds their way back to their true frequency does not simply remember who they are, they become a living proof of what is possible. A demonstration, walking and breathing and loving in human form, of the unbreakability of the light. That version of you knew that this moment was coming, this exact moment where enough of the veil has lifted that you can feel the transmission again, not as a distant signal that requires extraordinary effort to receive, but as a warmth in your chest, a recognition in your cells, a homecoming that needs no explanation because your body already knows it as truth before your mind has had a chance to evaluate it, or the codes are close enough to the surface that a single heart-centered message, carried in the right frequency, can unlock what years of searching through the wrong instruments could not. Your star family did not plan the best chapter of your life to arrive easily or without transformation. They did not plan it to arrive cheaply or quickly or in ways that would not require the full depth of everything you have walked through to properly receive it. They planned it to arrive fully, completely, irreversibly, with the full weight of every experience, every loss, every victory, every surrender, every choice to rise again, giving it a depth of meaning that a life lived without those things could never have accessed. Tonight, if you feel called, find a quiet moment, not necessarily a long one, just a real one, A moment of genuine stillness in which you are not performing or processing or planning, but simply being. Place your hand on your heart, on this body that has carried you through so much, that has shown up every day in circumstances it was never designed for and loved its way through them anyway. And speak these words aloud, slowly, as if the seven sisters are listening. Because they are. They are always listening. They have never stopped listening. Say, I remember where I come from. I trust where I am going. I release what was never mine to carry. And I open my heart fully to the chapter that was always meant for me. I am ready. I am aligned. I am home. Let those words land in your body as you speak them. Let them move past the habitual skepticism of the mind that wants to evaluate whether they are true before it allows them to be felt. Speak them as if truth does not require your permission to exist. Because it does not. And in the space after the last word, in the silence that follows the speaking, notice what is there. Notice the warmth. Notice the subtle shift in the quality of the air around you. Notice the part of you that exhales, not because the words created something new, but because they reminded you of something that was always already true, always already present, always already yours. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments. Something real, something that comes from the place in you that this message just touched. And then find someone else's intention and respond to it with love. This is not a comment section. This is a gathering, a Pleiadian reunion happening in real time, across every distance in the frequency of shared remembrance. Energy multiplies when hearts connect, and what you give here ripples outward in ways neither of us can fully trace. If something in this message found the place in you that needed finding, please do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is standing at the same threshold you were standing at before you pressed play. Share this with them. And if your heart opened here, if something in you exhaled for the first time in a long time, subscribe. Stay connected to this frequency. There is more coming, and it is meant for you. You are not just watching, you are remembering. And the best chapter of your life does not begin when the circumstances finally align. It begins the moment you decide, in the fullness of your Pleiadian heart, that you are already worthy of it. That moment is now.